Georgia and Georgians are increasingly moving their money into real estate. And this is also true of Russian oligarchs, where you have a huge construction boom, even still, after all of the detriments to FDI inflows and so forth. And the reason why may surprise you. Hello and welcome back to Traveling Reports. Today I wanted to go over why exactly people are buying up Georgian real estate, especially in the capital of Tbilisi, and how it isn't necessarily for the reasons that you may think. Of course, in the Caucasus more broadly, Georgia is one of the cheapest real estate markets in the Caucasus, and additionally, it's fairly low priced for global real estate. However, what is happening increasingly in Georgia is there's a construction boom, and especially in central areas, you see more and more apartments being built, more and more people piling into those apartments on loan agreements. Now, this is something that is not necessarily unique to Georgia, but the scale is surprising and realistically mirrors a lot of what happens in China. And I'm not saying necessarily that this bubble will pop, so to speak. However, there is that, of course, risk when you are looking at real estate here in Georgia. And so it's with this that, of course, you still have properties at or around $1,500 per square meter, even in the center, sometimes even lower. However, presently, I'm very close to the center, and there is an apartment right next to me, I believe 70 meters squared, that is going for $80,000, which, of course, is fairly low comparative to what it would be in another city in another country. And when I go to Yerevan, realistically, the prices in Yerevan are significantly more expensive. And the reason why real estate in Georgia is such at a deep discount is the construction boom. And this means that supply cannot be artificially capped, except in rentals, where rentals are relatively expensive. Oftentimes, Georgians have to take a mortgage to get a house instead of using a rental because it is literally that expensive to get a rental. However, as I've been on the ground here, as I've learned more about how Georgians operate within real estate, you see realistically a very different view of how it's being propped up. And how it's being propped up is actually, it goes back to the days of Mikhail Saakashvili. And Saakashvili, when he created the new constitution, he made it so that you could not change taxation on the 1% or the 3% without a supermajority and a constitutional change, which means that if 75% of people and do not agree, then the taxes cannot change. And of course, you will never reach that 75% number in Georgia, ever. And so essentially, what you get is a permanent low tax country by the Constitution. And additionally, you get the construction boom that comes along with that, because also property taxes are indeed low, which is another reason that property prices are so high. And of course, if you are looking at it from an investment standpoint, it's going to about flatline from now on or go down. However, what is good about that is that rental yields are relatively decent. And so if you are looking for a rental market that is pretty decent, that you can utilize holding structures to minimize or completely eliminate taxes, then Georgia is a great market for that. You will have to be wary of the lari losing weighting, and that's another video in and of itself. The lari is at a massive structural disadvantage right now, and I'll go over exactly why in another video. But realistically, what you get with Georgian real estates is an increasing amount of units, and very high quality units, mind you, that are inexpensive, that have high rental yields, and of course it's not as inexpensive as it was even 3 years ago, but of course it's not, because inflation has wreaked havoc worldwide realistically, and that's partially due to the war in Russia. But what essentially is the down low is that you are able to truly close quickly. You can use crypto to buy property here, which is something that not many countries do, but literally crypto adoption is everywhere in Tbilisi, which I will go over a video on how crypto has changed in Georgia over the past few years. So if you are looking forward to that, feel free to subscribe down below. You also get people who are hospitable, who do negotiate, and if you understand the culture, it's very simple to negotiate down the prices on real estate. And you additionally get an apartment in a very nice city that is easy to get around in. It's very walkable, very family friendly. There's parks everywhere. And so that's sort of what the whole ordeal is with Tbilisi real estates. Now, I will be doing a cost of living comparison as well with Tbilisi, but this is specifically going over the real estates. If you are interested at all in how I structure my real estate deals here in Georgia and how people are renting apartments or buying apartments here in Georgia, feel free to comment down below whether or not you want to know that process, whether you want me to walk through some apartments with you, and of course, if you are at all interested in a one-on-one consultation, there is a link down below for a one-on-one consultation for 15 minutes, absolutely free of charge. If you are looking to join me on this journey of internationalization and globalization, you can subscribe, of course. If you like this video, feel free to like it. If you really liked this video, feel free to share it with your friends. If you are new to this channel, I would like to go through some new things that I'm trying on this channel. I am going to be moving towards a more streamlined upload schedule. And so I'll make a community post about that. But me and my editor are working out right now how to implement that. So stay tuned if you are interested in those updates. With that said, this has been the Travel Report, signing off.